Red Voyage News splashing the check-in. Thank you for tuning in. As you can see, the article right here, brought to you by Fox5Atlanta.com. Family says teen killed at Atlanta hotel wasn't supposed to be there. 16-year-old Kalecia Williams was shot dead in the Hyatt Regency located at 265 Peachtree Street Northeast in the downtown hotel district. Let me just play the video, and then I'll give my 2 cents at the end.
Funeral arrangements for a 16-year-old girl who was shot to death at the Hyatt Regency on Peachtree Street Saturday. Her loved one spoke exclusively to Newshead reporter Alex Whitler, begging police to consider others who could be responsible for the teen's death.
Family says they're baffled as to why 16-year-old Kalecia Williams, or Pinky as they called her, never made it out of the Hyatt Regency alive. They say she was supposed to be at a chaperoned event at an Airbnb, and they believe the shooter isn't the only person responsible for her life being cut short. Most people were desperate to get out of the house when a strange virus forced them to stay home, but not Pinky.
I said, Pinky, you need to go outside and get some air. No, man, I'm good. As long as I got my Wi-Fi and my Netflix.
Relatives say 16-year-old Kalecia Williams, known as Pinky,
it fitted her well. It fitted her very well.
Was a notorious homebody who loved being around family. That's why her parents allowed her to attend what they thought would be a quiet holiday party.
She's supposed to be at an Airbnb with a couple of more friends from school and the mother. They'd have done this once before, so we was a little comfortable of letting her go the second time. And we spoke to the mother, and she said she was going to be there.
Pinky's parents say there was never an Airbnb. The Crawford Long student left for the party around 9 p.m. Saturday, the day after Christmas. Her parents didn't know when they went to sleep around midnight their daughter was taking her last breath, shot in a hotel room at the Hyatt Regency on Peachtree Street.
You know, you see it, but you never think it'll hit home. And not Pinky. Not Pinky.
They say they didn't know something was wrong until authorities called them at 9 a.m. the next day.
As a parent, you're supposed to pick up the phone and call that parent.
Atlanta police say she and a teenage boy were the only ones inside the room at the time of the shooting. They say the two were acquaintances and could have gotten into an argument. Her parents say something doesn't seem right.
She wasn't out in the streets. She don't go nowhere.
The teenage boy was arrested. He's facing a sexual assault charge, among others, as the girl who loved being home never made it back.
Okay, let me get my 2 cents on this. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about me growing up. Growing up, I always thought that my parents were lame because whenever my friends would ask me like, hey, won't you, we having like a sleepover or whatever, won't you just stay the night? We'll just stay up playing video games all night or whatever. I would tell my parents like, hey, can I go over so-and-so's house and stay the night and play video games and do this, that, and the third? My parents always said no. They always told me no. My parents never wanted me to have my friends over when nobody was at the house. They didn't want me by myself at home with my friends there. They said no. My house was never the hangout spot. It was never the party spot. To others, I did not have the coolest parents ever. So, I was just raised thinking, like, okay, my parents are just lame. But as you get older and you see things, you see stories like this happen quite often. You look back and say, man, I was blind back then. I didn't know any better. I was too young. Here I'm thinking my parents are lame. And, they didn't really explain to me why. And sometimes, man, your parents don't have to explain to you why they don't want you spending a night at somebody's house, why they don't want you going somewhere. Because, when you young, man, you just run your mouth, and whatever how they truly feel, and when they tell you about it, you might tell your friends, and then that might get back to their parents. So I was just raised thinking my parents were lame, but at the end of the day, they were looking out for me. This young girl right here, unfortunately, she lost her life in a hotel in a place where she shouldn't have been at. And her parents did the right thing. Her parents was like, okay, it was at an Airbnb house. They did this once before. I talked to the mother before. I talked to the mother again. I'm thinking, okay, my child is in good hands. But your child was elsewhere. Now, since it's been confirmed by the parent, I don't know what the other, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they're not going to interview the other mother. that other mother that confirmed and said, yeah, we're doing this once again. If they actually did talk to that mother could be, they could get hit with a lawsuit because of the death of her child. My child is my responsibility, but I passed the responsibility over to you. I talked to you. We confirmed it. And you did not make sure that my child was safe. My child was in a hotel, so a totally different location than what you told me, in a hotel room with another boy, a boy with a gun at that. And, I want to watch my words carefully here because I know these were two minors, but it seemed like the boy was trying to make a move in the bedroom on this young girl right here. And she refused, and she said no, allegedly, and that's how she lost her life. Allegedly. I have no idea. I could be totally wrong. That's just my theory. But if you're young, if you're under the age of 18 years old and you're thinking, man, my parents are lame. They don't let me do anything. They don't let me spend the night with somebody else. They don't let me have Airbnb parties, whatever. That's because they love you. And let me tell you something, man. Your mother loves you. Your father loves you. Your family loves you. The streets don't love you. This woman was out here running around in the streets, acting grown at 16 years old. I know at 16, you're old enough to drive. At 16, you're still a minor. At 16, your parents still need to know where you're at. When you're under the age of 18, under your parents' supervision, you live under their roof, and they ask you where you're going, or if they don't ask you where you're going, they don't care about where you're going. If they don't care about where you're going, you could just go anywhere at any given time and come back whenever you feel like it. Your parents don't, shame on those parents. You running around here in the streets like you grown, and then look what happened. This is sad, man. This is real sad. My heart goes out to the family. The mother that they spoke to, she needs to be held responsible for what just happened. She has to take some accountability for what just took place. What do you think about this in the comment section below? All right, let me know how you feel about this. Like, subscribe, comment, share this video. I'll check you out on the next video. Peace. Stay safe.